Okay. Hey, Nkem, how's it going?
Very good, very good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Awesome. So, yeah, I decided to just record this session on
Alright.
FSI. I know you've been playing around with it,
Mm.
and yeah. So, what was the issue you were having with FSI?
So, trying to set up my environment so that I can dive deep into um, F sharp,
Mm-hmm.
and I have all the extensions for the .NET packages installed. I can execute the code on runtime, but I needed to see those interactions in the FSI. So
Okay.
somehow my execution does not get injected into that shell. So that's what I want to figure out.
Okay, awesome.
So
So for those of us who are still new, FSI stands for F Sharp Interactive. It's essentially a way to interactively write and execute code and see the outcome. So let me, okay, go ahead and share your screen first. Let's see what your challenge is, and then I will share mine and show you how to solve it.
all right, no problem. Don't so this entire screen, blah blah blah. Oh, really? I have to. Sorry, this stream, yeah, the blah blah. Okay, Windows entire screen.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm doing the entire screen. So
Okay.
can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. All right. So long cut and short of the story is I have this. Still
Mhm.
pretty very basic.
Yes.
Then when I execute this guy, okay, of course I get the response.
Hmm.
But and then I can see this happening here. Like I was thinking there would be a way to inject that into this interactive so I can see what's
Oh,
going on.
okay. Highlight the entire text
This
again.
one?
Highlight it. Yes, highlight it. Right click it.
Mhm.
There should be a send to interactive or something like that.
Um, thought I did look for that stuff yesterday.
I don't think it's there. I think it. So first of all, there is a plugin called Ionide that allows you to
Oh,
use F Sharp with Visual Studio Code.
I
And
have Ionide already.
yeah, so that I think they changed it recently. So you can't just highlight text and execute it. You have to run it like you're showing at the top, which kind of
Oh,
sucks anyway. It's
mhm.
fine. What you can just do is just copy and paste then. Copy and paste in the interactive. That should also
Okay,
work too.
really?
Yeah, copy, yes. Paste, enter.
Um,
Yeah. Do it again. Paste and press double semicolon.
what I did.
Think your pipe. Yes, enter. Yes, correct.
Oh,
That's it.
beautiful. Yeah. But then this kind of like sucks because if I have files, thousands of files, or just two files with lines of code,
Hmm.
and how do I then fix that? Do I have to copy all those things and dump it here?
Well, you don't have to. So what you could do is you could open the, you can, okay, you know what? Stop sharing your screen. Let me share my screen. Let me just show you all the tricks you can do with
All the good
FSI.
stuff. All right.
Yep. So stop sharing. And I am presenting mine.
Mm,
Entire screen. Let's go. Nice. So you can see my screen, right?
perfect.
So let's open VS Code. Now, okay, I could also talk about .NET notebooks at the same time, but let's start with FSI. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, With FSI, you can just create a simple file. You can just say FSI. So I can create a new file. I can call this maybe
Mm-hmm.
script.fsi.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, F sharp scripts are FSX, not FSI, right? F sharp interactive is what you use to run F sharp scripts. Okay, so it's asking me where I want to save that. Let me just save it on the desktop for now. Or let me just create a project folder. Give me 1 second. No. D projects, C projects. Yeah, I can go to my projects folder, YouTube, create a folder, say learning F sharp. And then inside I store my script.fsx. Okay. It's asking me to open folder. I can open the same folder as well. Fine, let's save that. Let's save it here. Excellent. So now you can see the script file here. Oof, I didn't ask for this. You can see the script file here, right? So let's say I have a print fn hello world. Right? There are 3 ways to execute this. Let me see. I hope I have Ionide installed. Ooh, something happened and I didn't have it installed. Anyway, that's fine. The reason is that most of the time I use Rider, so it doesn't really matter as much. Okay, so I think it's installed now. Yes, and you can see it's showing this in. There's also an execute here, so I can just run this and you see, hello world, press any key to continue. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it used to be you right click and then you can just say run in FSI, but I don't know why that doesn't work anymore. But that's fine. What you can do instead is you can copy, okay, open your terminal like this, and then you can invoke FSI by just saying .NET FSI. That's it. Right? And now all you just need to do is copy what you want to execute. You paste it. Oops, what am I doing? What is going on? You copy what you want to execute. You paste it. Yep, you paste it. Add your double semicolon. That's another way to execute it. A third way to execute it is to exit. So you can quit FSI using the hash quit. Double semicolon. It quits. Now you can execute it directly. Right? You can say script.fsx. If you have multiple script files, you can just separate them and just execute everything at once.
Well, it doesn't give those interactiveness that happens when you execute directly.
Yes. So when you say interactiveness, you mean like
Those
asking you for
that
asking you
show
for prompts.
yeah, prompts and asking you for kind of like interpreting the types and the variables and the objects that are moving around.
Oh, okay, okay. Let's do a sample. Let's say we have a number one. Let's just make this 120, and let's say number two is equal to 15, right? And then we say let sum equal to number one. But let's even create a function. Sum a b is a plus b,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say sum of number one and number two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are actually right, and say hello world. The result is percentage %d, and let's store it in the result variable here, and let us just execute result. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now we save that. The issue with this is if you run this, right, it will only show you, it will just output what it needs to
Exactly.
output. It won't show you all the types like you said. If you wanted that, you can highlight, and this is what I do anyway. Normally they're supposed to be, but it's fine. I don't think that feature is there anymore. But now you could just say .NET FSI, right? And then when you're in F Sharp Interactive, you can just paste everything, end it with double semicolon, and you will see all the types now. Number one, number two, sum, results, and it is the last expression. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes quite sense. But then my concern is in a case where you have a project that has several files,
Is it libraries now?
libraries, files. You
Mhm.
you kind of like you've arranged your project in the way that you normally wanted it to be, and
Yes.
you have to execute that because with the old way, it is fun for you to see how these things are moving.
Mhm.
Kind of, no, it doesn't stop the execution as we can see, but how can we? Is there a way we can figure out this new problem on Visual Studio at the moment?
So if I get you correctly, right, what you're asking about is, say, for example, you have a project and you want to bring in the types in that project so that you can use it inside FSI directly. Is that what you're
Yes,
referring to?
yes. So you can't copy that all those codes and dump them here, right? So
Yes,
you
of
only
course.
execute one. So that's what I'm saying. But in the previous way, it works. If you
Hmm.
execute your code, you see the interactive. It's like everything is injected into the interactive, and you can see whatever you want to see. But now we have that problem that we can't right click and run all those codes. So how do we fix that? Is this something that we can fix in this series,
Excellent.
or?
Yes, excellent question. So when you are using F Sharp Interactive, there are some preprocessor directives you can use, right? So
Mhm,
one of the preprocessor directives is this load. Is it hash load? Yes, it's hash load. So say for example, I have a normal F sharp file. So we can call this math.fs, right? And this
mhm,
math.fs includes our sum function. Okay.
mhm,
Our sum function definition. It may
mhm,
also include namespaces, it can include classes, it can include all kinds of things. So for example, I
mhm.
could say let I don't know, class. I'll just create a class. So if I oh, no, no, let me just create a type. Let's call this type um, user, right? Just
Mhm,
something simple. User has a first name, which is a string, a last name, which is also a string, right?
mhm,
And I'm just using this type here, this user record, just for play, but you can imagine that it could be more complicated things, right?
mhm,
Now, the question is in FSI, I want to bring in all those codes that I've already written into my
mhm.
script. Well, the way to do that is to just use the load function. So you can say load maths.fs
So mine works more like the import statement in Python.
in Python. Exactly. You
This
you
is
see a lot
really
of
sweet.
yeah, you see a lot of similarities between
Yeah,
F
I
sharp
see
and
a lot of
Python.
similarities, and this makes sense. It's more like,
Ah, this is what you are talking about. I remember now. I just did
mhm,
it instinctively and I got it. So if you use Alt+Enter, right?
mhm,
Why is it saying multiple applications must begin with namespace? Some namespace. Only the last five. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. I forgot that you have to, in your normal F sharp files, you have to either create a namespace or a module. So let's just call this math module, right? Has to live inside either a
so
module or
so
a class or a
so
namespace.
let me drag you a little bit backward. I know that I'm very new to F sharp, and so what's the module? What's the namespace? I
Excellent
understand what
question.
namespace is in some
Yes.
context, but I want to be sure that we are on the same
That's
page.
a good question because you that's especially for someone like you who's coming from Python, right? It can be like, what's the difference? Well, a namespace in F sharp is similar to a namespace in .NET, right? It's just a way of classifying or categorizing classes. You can't
Okay.
put code inside a namespace, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like the name implies, it's just a namespace.
Mm-hmm.
A module in F sharp is like a namespace, but it can contain code, right? You can put code inside of it. So
Okay.
that's why I'm able to do this let F sharp part and it works perfectly because
Perfectly,
I
because
because it's in a module. If I put it in a namespace, Yes, if I put it in namespace, it shouldn't work.
Oh,
If I
okay.
try to if I try to load this now, you use Alt Enter to load into FSI quickly, right? You can see it's still saying that I need a module. So if I come
Mm.
here and I change this to a module and I save this, yep, and I rerun it, you will see that now it works. It tells me
Yeah.
this is the module. It tells me these are the types inside the module. So my module has a function and a type inside,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now you can mix namespaces with modules. So say for example, I wanted to have a namespace. I could say namespace, um, um, I don't know, let's say learning F sharp, learning dot F sharp dot, so this would be like something like maybe YouTube dot learning dot F sharp, right?
That's
Just
something.
giving
Yeah.
yeah, just giving an example here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, this is because this module is inside this namespace, I have to do
Mm.
it like this, and I have to indent this, right? To show that all this code is inside this
Okay.
module.
So that's the only way it loads that.
That's the only way it loads that. Now, if I come here and I do Alt Enter, in fact, you can also even do it straight from here. Say Alt Enter straight from here, right? And as you can see, it will load in the module.
Alt enter from where? Straight from the.
Just highlight your code, Alt Enter, it's in FSI.
Oh, sweet, sweet, sweet.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, like I said, you use the hash load to load in files, F sharp files into your
Mm-hmm.
script file, so that you
Mm-hmm.
can use it. But now you can see that sum is like, what the hell is sum? So, in other words, I have to open that module. So I'll say open youtube.learning.f sharp.math, right? And now
But
sum is
that's
now
the
available.
that's the namespace.
That's the namespace. Yes.
So you have to open the namespace.
Yes. I have to open the namespace.
Okay.
Otherwise, it doesn't know where sum is coming from. Okay.
But why will it behave in such a manner? Because I was thinking that the fact that module was explicitly stated to own those code by those equality character and the indentation, it should just is
It should
that
just
the behavior of the
s-
language.
so yes, that's the behavior of the language. You know, when we created this namespace
Hmm.
and we created this module exists inside of this
Inside
namespace.
the namespace.
Yes. So
Okay, 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 okay. No, it makes
yes,
sense.
so because of it, can you have multiple? I can't remember if you can have multiple namespaces inside a single file. I'm not exactly sure, but
I don't think it should work.
yeah. So essentially,
Logically speaking, with this, with the behavior, I don't think it should work.
yeah. So
You can try it.
yeah. So as I was saying, you have your namespace here, like
Mm-hmm.
YouTube Learning F sharp, and it has a math name. It has a math module inside that namespace. The reason for it is that I could have another module here. I can call math two, for example, and
Mm-hmm.
have a different function with the same name, some AB equal to, whatever. And the problem exists that when I come back to my script and I reference sum, it's like, which sum are you talking about? Are you talking
Mm-hmm.
about the one in math, or are you talking about the one in math too?
Oh,
Does that make
sweet.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is namespaces, modules. They are just a way for you to have, for you to sort out collisions between class names, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the person who is using it has to specify which particular
Pretty
function, yes, they want. It's pretty much the same thing with Python.
like in
It's
Python, yeah.
yes, it's just that in F sharp, your namespace cannot hold code in it. So if I came here and I said let's a equal to let sum equal to a plus b, it doesn't like that, right?
Mm.
So if I highlight this like this and use Alt Enter to send it to FSI, you can see. Okay, at least it was able to take this one, but yeah, in general, you can't put code inside the namespaces. So you can't put functions, you can't put values directly
Yeah.
inside namespaces. You can only put classes in namespaces or modules. Now, if you have only one module in your namespace like this, it's very common to just put the module and the namespace in one place. So you can do this. And instead of having namespace here, you just change this to module And now you, oops, and now you don't need to indent any of this anymore, right? So this declaration of putting a module and using dots allows you to mix
It's like
both a
you're
function and a
mixing.
name. Yes, exactly. So I can highlight all this, use Alt+Enter, send it to FSI. As you can see, yeah, it shows you that it's here. Now, in my code, I can also load it from math.fs. You can see it brings in the namespace as expected with your function, your type, all well and good. Okay.
Mm.
Now, okay, yeah, this is math2 is gone now. So now I have to open that namespace like this and then use it this way. Another way we could do it is we could also open the namespace directly and then reference it with the module name directly. So we could do something like this. Math,
Math.
math.sum, exactly. Like this.
Um,
Then highlight it and then Alt+Enter. And yeah,
this
we're
is
getting the
this
same
is
result.
this
Okay.
is sweet.
Yeah.
I think
So
pretty.
so this is one way of including code into your F Sharp interactive, right? But even this way isn't so good because what if you have a full-blown project, a full-blown .NET project, right? You don't want to start including all the files inside the project. That's just ridiculous. Like a project will have like 20, 50 files, and you don't want to have 20 to 50 loads there, right? So what you can do in that case is to, so let me open a terminal. Let me go back to my original. This is .NET. Let's exit this. Sorry, I forgot. Quit is how you exit. Hash quit, right? Now that we've exited this, now what I want to do is I want to create a new project, a new F sharp project. So I just say .NET new. You can see we can create a class library. So let's quickly do that. .NET new lang F sharp. I think is it double lang or single lang? I think it's single lang. Um, class library. That's class lib. We give it a name. We call this math lib. That's the name of our library. I think it's double. Forgotten how to.
I think is that WhatsApp is not a valid option. So I
Yeah,
think it's supposed to be.
let's see. .NET. Yeah, I need to specify an output. I think so. Let's call this dash o, and let's call this math lib. Okay. So if you look, we have our math library here with the library.fs already included for us. So let's put our math.fs into a proper project, right? So I will come here, change this to
Sorry,
capital.
sorry, sir. Sorry. Just hold on 1 second. There's a question that I want to ask. So why do we have So we have matlib.fx. Why not
FS.
fxx?
Yes. What's the difference between the two?
Exactly.
So FSX stands for F sharp script. It doesn't
Mm,
require any module, any library, or anything. You can just execute it as is, right?
okay.
That's F sharp script. So you can think of FSX as just the a file containing all the commands you should have put into FSI directly. So all it does is it loads whatever is in this file and pumps it into FSI. That
Okay.
is F sharp scripting. It's different from F sharp development, like building an application that you would compile into a DLL or an
Mm,
EXE and all of that stuff, right?
okay. So that's the difference.
That's the difference, yes. So this is my math.fs now, F sharp file. I can't execute it as is, right? I have to put it in like either I run it from an F sharp script or I put it in an F sharp project, which is what I've done now, as you can see. Now, because I've just adding it here doesn't mean anything. I have to include it as well in my F sharp, uh, in my sorry, my FS project file. So here I will say include, and what am I including? Maths.fs. And in F sharp, the order matters. The order in which you put these compile statements matter. So it's not the same if I put the math on top of the library, because if math wanted to use something from library, then math has to come after library.
Okay.
That's how it's done in F sharp. So anyway, I've added it here. Now I
So,
should be
so,
able.
so sorry, I think I missed how you added this. Um,
I just moved
my
it into the folder.
okay, you just moved that into the folder. Okay.
I just moved it into the folder. I just edited the fsproj file to reference it. That's it.
Okay, perfect.
So now from F sharp interactive, obviously this won't work anymore. Right? I
Mm,
need a way to reference the project. And in order to do that, you can say, and then you can reference a DLL directly. So if I head over to, let me first head over to this F sharp interactive. Let's head back to PowerShell. Let's go into our math lib project and let's just and let's just build it. So that will be .NET build. So now that it's building, right, I should be able to see that there is a bin folder here. Do you see it? With our mathlib.dll. And now I should be able to reference it by saying open mathlib, and inside of mathlib, open bin. So if you notice, when I did this, without this, it thinks that this slash b is a special character. So I had to put the
yeah,
at in
that's
front
to
of
escape
this.
it.
Yes.
So that
So
act is more like an escape.
it's exactly. So I'm looking for bin debug net 7.0, right? And I am looking for mathlib.dll.
The DLL.
Good. Now let's see. Now I don't need load math fs anymore. And I highlight this, Alt Enter, and I'm able to reference the DLL. And if you notice, this code still works, right? Okay. So that's great. In fact, I can highlight everything now, Alt Enter. It
But
still works.
the, but this is just for development purposes.
Yes. So this is if I want to, reference a project that I'm creating locally. So say for example, I make a change, and this is why, even though this is a good way of doing it, people don't really do this anymore, and you'll see why in a moment. So for me to test this, I would need to I would need to change math.fs. Say for example, I added a new function. I added a sum3 that takes A, B, and C, and then does A plus B plus C, right? I can't just reference it from F sharp because I'm referencing the DLL. I have to first build
You
that.
have to build it again. But that was why I was asking that question.
Yes,
Because
correct.
it causes you to make it build every time.
Yes,
So
so I
that
have to,
means this approach is also
yeah, I have to build it again, right? And after building, oh, okay, it's saying because it's being referenced by FSI. Let me see. These are some of the problems you will face. So now that let me try it one more time.
so you have to quit FSI for you to build it.
For me to build and then reassemble it, which is just a mess, right? So what people do sometimes is rather than referencing the DLL like this, they could reference the raw files if they have the source code. But imagine that you are dealing with a package that you don't own. This is one way of referencing. Just download the DLL or get the DLL or get the project somehow and just reference it like this. Now, there is yet another way that makes it even nicer, right? So instead of referencing DLLs directly, you can reference Nuget packages. And that is the important one I want to get to. So say, for example, I wanted to be able to use newtonsoft.json to do serialization, for example. Then how I would do it is to say R, and I would say Nuget, right? So Nuget is the .NET package manager. Let me look for a particular package. Look for the exact package. I say Nuget. Hold on, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Mm.
Enough editing for me today.
what,
So with Nuget,
what do you use for editing?
I use DaVinci Resolve.
Okay.
All right, so this is Nuget. Nuget has different packages. So let's say we want to use NewtonSoft.json, right? You can see this is a very popular package for serializing and deserializing Java JSON.
Mm.
You can see that this is one way of adding it, but you can also add it like this using F# interactive. Okay.
Mm.
Yes. So now in my code, I just need to reference it this way. And guess what? I don't need you know what? Let me still reference let me reference the mathlib
Because
slash um mathlib/math.fs, right? So this is another way of referencing it. Okay. You can use forward or backward slash, it doesn't matter. So now I can use Alt+Enter in FSI and it will.
it's complaining of YouTube.
Nice catch. You just you caught it. Because normally it's supposed to work regardless of which you pick, right?
Mm.
Now if I highlight this, you can see
Mm.
still works the same way. Now the beauty is that now I can reference JavaScript construct. So I can say JSON convert dot I will need to open NewtonSoft.json.
Yeah,
Let's
because
use
also
yeah. NewtonSoft.json, JSON convert dot serialize object, and I can just say serialize the result. Or yeah, I could also reference let OD equal to first name is equal to what's the username of let me see.
I was
Let me
user.
user. Um Now it wants me to import user. So I can easily do that. I can open YouTube learning.f#.math. That was the module. Oh, I could have even said
That is
math.user
module.
as well. Yeah, so
Yeah,
let me remove this.
because that was what I was saying.
And as you can
Thinking as well.
see, yep. So here, user has a field first name and last name. So it's saying last name is missing, which is great. So I can put last name is equal to the price. So now if I highlight everything, I can run it this way. I can use Alt+Enter. They are all valid ways. You can see that it's showing me this. And now if I want to serialize OD, serialize object, let's store this to OD string or OD JSON, right? I can now come here. You know what? Put result from put string Put OD here. Okay. Yeah,
What did you
ODJSON.
what did you say?
Yes, you can see how F sharp is able to catch a lot of errors that you may have if you pass in the wrong types into your log statements, right? So now if I use Alt Enter, you can see this is in JavaScript. And I didn't need to start referencing crazy DLLs or anything like that. I just needed to reference the Nuget package. And it will download the Nuget package, attach it to your FSI, and then you can start using the classes in it. So what I would recommend to people is if you want to use your packages inside of FSI, a good way would be to create a Nuget package, right, of whatever package you want, have your own private, whether private or public Nuget server, and then you can just reference it like this and have
Oh, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I would want to. Where is result? Did you reference result? Yes. So where is result?
so
Right.
that is all the jujitsu of FSI. Do you have any questions?
No, I think um it's pretty straightforward with the way things are. The only complications is if you have to probably reference build a project and reference a library, which is where you have some
Issues.
madness.
Yeah.
But then it's how do they say it? It's the hard pill. It's the red pill you must swallow.
Yeah.
If you have to get into that, so it's fine.
So
I
as
think
long as you don't change your libraries that much, then it's no big deal, right? But if you have to be
mm,
constantly changing the library while you are developing it, then it gets
yeah,
very, very messy very quickly. So you are better off doing what I did here, which is to load the source files directly, and then you can, change them without, having to reference the whole DLL. But
reference
even though,
your
yeah, even though this is painful, I feel like it's a
but that
necessary.
seems to be like a necessary evil.
Yes. Yep.
And
Yep.
this is really cool. I think this kind of like simplifies a lot of learning in one place because even I think this is really applicable to regular programming in F sharp when you have
Mhm.
to reference a file. It's not just
Yes.
about not just about the interactive, but regularly when you are developing, you still have to reference files, and I think this makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's a good.
All
It's good.
right. So if you liked this video, please like and subscribe and see you next time.
All
Bye.
right.